Welcome folks, one and all, to Let's Play Goblins, released in 1991 for the PC, with versions for the Amiga, Atari ST, and Macintosh computers. Developed and published by Cocktail Vision, this is a point-and-click adventure game, and the first in the Goblins series. It follows the story of three goblins who are attempting to aid their king, who suddenly went insane. They've no idea why. We know why, because we got to see the introduction screen within a screen during the intro cutscene. We know there's evil magic afoot, but these three goblins do not, and so their adventure has begun. They have come to the home of this wizard, who hopefully will tell them what's going on with his infinite knowledge of magic, and will then tell them how they can solve the king's malady. This being the first game in the Goblin series is one of the ones that is a bit rough around the edges. I really like Goblins 2, and I really like Goblins 3. Goblins 3 is my favourite in the series, but Goblins 1, I don't like it that much, and there are a number of reasons why. It's not because of the aesthetic, because the game is beautiful, and it's not because of the music, because the music is very atmospheric and succeeds in drawing you into the world. What this game fails at is that it hasn't yet refined what made the later Goblins games so good. There's a health mechanic, for instance. This here is a health bar. It will go down if we do something that gets one of the goblins hurt. It doesn't go back up at any point in the game as far as I know. So we're going to have to do this all on one life, as it were. If we do lose all of our health, or if we do something that gets one of the goblins killed, that can happen. Instant death is a thing. We'll have to load up from a password. There are no save functions in the game. That could very well be a technical limitation of the game engine, but I like having saves in a game. We'll be using the password system a lot, I imagine. This is our first of the three goblins. This goblin has a very particular set of skills, and so does this goblin, and so does this goblin. This goblin was originally called Oops, spelled O-U-P-S, but I'm going to be referring to every goblin by their US release name. So this goblin is called Dwayne. Dwayne is a technician, and as a technician, he is the only goblin of the three that can pick up and use items, and only one item at a time. That's right, these two can't carry anything. They have different skills. Meet Bobo. The non-US release had this goblin called Asgard, but we're going to call him Bobo. Bobo is far more brawn than brains, and what does Bobo do? Bobo punches things, that's pretty much it. Oh, there is one other thing that Bobo can do. Bobo can climb things that are not stairs and ladders. The other two have to use stairs or ladders. Finally, we have Hooter. Yes, this goblin in the US release is called Hooter, originally called Ignatius. Hooter is the only one that has magic. Magic that can be used to change objects from one thing to another, or alter the properties of an object. This game otherwise follows typical point-and-click adventure game puzzles. Some of them will be moon logic puzzles, some of them will be very simple. This screen has a very simple puzzle. We need to get in to this place. Will we succeed? Maybe, but we have to try. One thing this game does not do compared to the other games in the series is that it does not allow you to get an indication that something can be used. If I were, for instance, to hover over the door, in Goblins 2 it would say, door. Not here. We just have to guess. Another one of the small things that makes me not really like this game. I've never completed it, in fact I've never gone beyond the first few screens of this game, but this time I'm going to try my best. So come along, Dwayne, Hooter and Bobo, it is time for adventure. Let's start by doing the most obvious thing. Knocking on the door. Right now, this is just the pointer that will move a goblin to wherever we want to make the goblin go. We can only control one goblin at a time. We can switch by clicking on a goblin or clicking on this. It will cycle through each of the goblins in turn. We're going to right-click with Bobo to bring up the use command. And we're going to knock on the door. That involves punching, right? Seems like we're not welcome. Let's become a nuisance and try and knock on the window. Yep, we're not going to be allowed in. Maybe we could open this door and get in? No, and you managed to get all the way up the chimney to complain at us. That is quite a feat. We have been given the very obvious solution, which is that we can knock this down. This is wobbling to imply that it's loose. We could try and use magic on it, but we instead are just going to hit this here and get that horn down from the archway. That is the first puzzle solved, and that's brilliant. Now we're going to pick this up, and only Dwayne can do that. We right-click once for use, which will use whatever item he has, and right-click again for the pick up or drop command. It will drop an item that we are carrying as well. Let's pick it up. We have a horn. And this is not just a horn in the sense that it was part of an animal. It's also a musical instrument. How would you know that? You wouldn't without trying. We're definitely not warming ourselves up to that person there. That person does not like us, but we do have a stick now. We definitely want a stick. Or do we want a stick? I know the solutions to the puzzles on this screen, and we want to change this stick into something else. Now it's a pickaxe. It may look like a crossbow, but it's not. Let us put this down. There we go. We could even use some magic to get that back to where it was. Give it a go. I don't think we can do that anymore, actually. We could do that when we hadn't used it to get the stick. But you can't do it now, it would seem. Either way, we have what we want, and that is the pickaxe. We could have tried to use this. Don't. It's a trap. It'll just hurt you. And so, we have cleared the first screen. I could show off what happens if we go through there. You know what? Let's give it a go. You could use your magic to try and get to the back of this house. Give it a try. And thus we have lost some health, and the other two goblins are not that happy, and Hooter just seems a little bit tired. We can't get through that just yet. We may be able to at some point. If you get Bobo to try, it will also result in failure. Let's go. We get a code and a very loud beep. And now, we're on to the next area. We can see something that we want here in the rock. That is probably some sort of shiny gem or valuable ore. Problem is, we really can't get there because there's a gap here and we can't jump. But what can we do? We could punch these apples. Maybe the apples will give us the strength we need to get over that gap. We only need to get Dwayne over there after all. Give it a go, Bobo! This game has instant death mechanics. If you do something really silly and get one of the goblins killed, you then either have to load using a password or start the screen you're on again. Let's try again. Note that we do not have the health that we lost back. That is gone forever. So clearly we don't want to do that. Clearly these apples aren't really going to be any help to us at all right now. Maybe, however, you could do something to them. It's just an idea, but maybe magic is the key. Now they are much bigger. And you might as well use magic on this one as well. Marvellous. Now, maybe you can punch this and you won't fall into oblivion this time. Give it a go. There we go, and with a thud, the very large apple is now on that branch. We could try picking it up. We'll have to put the pickaxe down, and then pick up a very large apple. I wonder if you can pick up the very small ones too. We have Big Apple 3. Let's use it here. I mean, we could use an apple to try and fix a bridge. This is the kind of puzzle that we'll be facing a lot in this game. This kind of logic. Okay, we want you to punch this one as well. Let's hope it actually falls. It does! Brilliant. It could have exploded. It's that kind of game, it very well could have blown up. So we have Big Apple 2, let's use that here. Is that all we're going to need? No! That one has a giant worm in it. So we're not going to be using that one, and how would you have known that there was a giant worm in that? The answer is you wouldn't. The game is a bit cheap like that. Okay, what about this one? Does this one have a giant worm in it? Let's find out. We'll pick it up. And then we'll put it here. Hopefully we're not going to lose health this time round. And we did not. Good. Can we finally cross over this? Let's see. Yes, we can! Those apples were sufficient. The game won't even let you try to get over here if you don't have something to give you a pathway across. We don't know what this is. It's just a marking on a rock. Maybe it's an ominous warning. But either way, we can now use the pickaxe here. Let's give it a go. Ooh! That looks like a very valuable gem to me. We want that. So we'll put this down. Pick this up. And we are done here. And we get a password, which is good. We're back on this screen. We have a diamond, and there is no horn here anymore. Maybe we can use the diamond to get in. Look, we have something valuable. Would you like it? It's worth a go. Also, the music has changed. That's quite nice. We are, however, getting to the point where I have not much clue as to what's going to happen in the future. Will there be failure? Most likely. Also, that bird just keeps going by. Or maybe it's a different bird. It's probably the same bird. Aha! That did work. In we go. So, there's the wizard. And there is a plant with a face and teeth. I wonder if the wizard wants us to hand over that diamond. Maybe. There are lots of things we can do here. Lots of things we can look at. There's a giant spellbook. That is definitely something that looks like it could be used. It doesn't look like it's part of the background. These also look like things we can use. But do I want to use any of them? Possibly. These plants look dangerous, though. Maybe we could use some magic on something? Like this, maybe? Aha! That has grown a lot taller, and we know that you can climb them. Things that are not necessarily ladders and stairs. So you can climb the plants, which is good. Now, the question is, what do we want to do with you being on there? I don't know, but there's something here that we can grab. So let's drop a diamond. It's not been picked up. I know you're waiting for that diamond. Oh, I bet the problem is that we need to get you onto the table so that we can hand over the diamond. That's probably the whole puzzle here. Because you are not tall enough to get onto the table, and the wizard is not going to actually get out of their chair so that they can take the diamond off us. What is this? It's a yellow pot. I don't quite know what it does, but we'll find out. Down you go. There are lots of things in the foreground here, like a jar full of eyes, and a spider. Don't worry, spider. You'll be free someday. Also, how did you get into there? You're much bigger than the opening in that bottle. We'll never know how you got in there. That looks like a giant trap. Maybe that's actually how we get you up, by using that book. But we clearly have this. So the only thing we can really use it on is this plant. Okay, so you ate that. Alright, what does that do? Does that mean that you're not going to attack here? Oh, you're not. I imagine you probably would have if we hadn't have fed you. I did not know that had an insect in it. How was I meant to know that? Trial and error, I imagine. Now that has knocked over the book. Now how is that going to do anything to help us? Can you climb the book, maybe? Let's see if that will work. You really haven't done anything on this whole screen. Oh, you can climb a book. I did not know that you could climb books. Either way, this screen is done. We could look at various things here. We could try and do things wrong. I wonder what that one had in it that would have made it a bad decision to pick up. Either way, you won a diamond. We'll give it to you. And so we've had this opened up for us, and we can now progress, though I have a few questions that have already come to mind. Hopefully I'll get the answers for them when we go to the next area, though I somehow doubt it. Let's go! There's our password!
Well, the wizard had asked us to bring back from the depths of the earth air rain's mushroom, arachnides elixir, and the bald plant in order to cure the king.
So a few things come to mind. One, why does the wizard have a convenient stairway that goes down into the depths of the earth? Maybe the wizard tries to collect magical ingredients through this stairway and getting to the bowels of the earth through a very long-winded process, although you'd imagine that a wizard would be able to teleport. Maybe not. And also, why are we being sent when we clearly are not going to be as good at doing this as the wizard is? Maybe the wizard just likes not doing very much. I would love to experiment and do things like figure out all the things that you could do that are wrong. However, when we lose health by doing things incorrectly, I really don't want to do that, because once we run out, that's it, and I really want that health for when things go inevitably wrong later, because the puzzles are going to get harder. But when we come back, folks, our intrepid heroes will retrieve those ingredients that we were asked to go and get by the wizard, and hopefully once we get them, the game will be over and the king will be cured. If you believe that's going to be what happens, it's not. I'm pretty sure there's going to be something sinister going on, most likely involving the wizard. After all, magic was what caused the king to appear to go insane, and we've met a wizard. That's not to say that that wizard is directly involved, but they could be. I actually definitely think that they are. The chances of it are roughly 100%. Unless I'm wrong. And so, when we come back, folks, we will solve this first screen of puzzles, deep within the earth. It's a good thing this area is nice and illuminated. You'd think it'd be very dark. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.